But what if the grades we rely on to measure success are actually holding us back? Across classrooms nationwide, students are being assessed upon rigid letter grades, systems that often discourage true learning. In this documentary, we'll uncover the hidden costs of traditional grading and expose the flaws of our current education system through the voices of educators, students, and experts. Finally, we will explore solutions to this pressing issue based off student insight and professional research. Back in the 20th century, when the modern-day grading system was becoming popular, it seemed like the perfect way to assess students due to its uniformity and efficiency. However, critics quickly pointed out that this system was not equitable for all. Each child has unique learning styles that cannot be accommodated by this one-size-fits-all approach.
I know this as a lifelong educator myself. Students learn at different levels. And now once we have them back in the classroom, we're doing new ways of making sure they're able to get content.
As a result, many kids today feel inferior because of their academic performance, even though they are just as capable as their peers. This shows the unfairness of our education system. Here's what students have to say.
Because I think it's more important that children really understand the material, and if they have to go a little bit slower, but they still end up with their peers, I think that should be more normalized.
Another problem with our current education is that it discourages true learning. Inflexible grading scales often reduce real understanding. Students adopt a test-focused mindset, asking, "Will this be on the test?" instead of getting the material. Queen's University finds, when students are motivated by getting good grades, they focus on memorizing information instead of deeply understanding new concepts and making creative extensions. Rather than developing a long-term growth mindset, students cram formulas and concepts a few days before exams, creating short-term memory rather than lifelong understanding. This kills creativity and critical thinking, as exams depends on what a student memorized the night before. Now we hear from an experienced high school teacher of over 20 years.
As somebody that was that kid, that made some arbitrary number in my head, that anything below that wasn't good. And what that really did was it shut me off to having the kind of growth mindset to take risks. Because what happens if you're just worried about the number that you're going to get? Are you going to be innovative? Are you going to take risks? Are you going to try something that might fail? Of course not, because you're worried about the number that's going to be recorded.
Grades heighten stress for students by creating pressure to meet expectations from parents and teachers. Fear of failure and constant comparison to peers leads to anxiety, making it harder to focus on learning. Not only does the pursuit of good grades impact well-being, but it also decreases motivation, as one low-scoring test can result in a huge, irreversible impact on the total grade. A study by New York University reveals that 49% of high school students experience severe stress from school. Students learn best when they are genuinely interested and not always worrying. Stress adds to the worrying and detracts from the interest. If half our students are stressed, then half our students are not learning to their max potential. Here are student and teacher opinions.
There is a bunch of stress to just get good grades. You need to get good grades to get into a good college, to just overall have a good life.
Grades are way too much, and it's bring a lot of mental harm to students, everybody, me.
I feel like grades have really affected mental health, and it's kind of because of this culture of comparison. Students with different talents compare themselves, and it makes very bright students feel like they aren't.
I don't find myself overthinking test grades or report cards. I mean, I know I do well. It's not really that important.
So the grading system doesn't really make me feel stressed. However, that will probably vary based on person to person and what their interests are.
I know a lot of people close to me who are stressed by grades constantly and have to worry about getting a good grade, or their parents will punish them. They also worry about colleges, or their future might be affected because of these grades.
To create the ideal learning environment in schools, three main factors must be satisfied: efficiency, student engagement, and opportunities for critical thinking. We propose 2 changes to the education system that will improve student performance and well-being. So first, let's hear from education expert Andrea Gabor.
Public schools must constantly improve the way that they both teach children to meet the challenges of a highly technological global world, but also how to be active citizens in a democracy.
This is exactly what our first approach accomplishes, which is project-based learning, having less tests and more practical, hands-on projects. Projects require critical thinking, training students to tackle challenges and draw upon classroom concepts creatively. They offer an extension of classroom learning, deeply rooting concepts in the mind and simulate real-world applications of knowledge in future jobs, along with helping students develop soft skills. Projects improve student well-being as they are less stressful than exams. With less stress, student engagement in course material will skyrocket. Research from top universities like Stanford show that students in project-based environments outperform peers in traditional settings. Our second adjustment is choice-based assessments. Students choose from alternative options, such as projects and presentations, alongside exams. Choice reduces stress and increases motivation, as research from Harvard shows. This allows students to demonstrate learning mastery comfortably. A study by Carnegie Mellon University found that students with more choice in assessments perform better academically than those without, proving this method's effectiveness. Due to the amount of students today, traditional grading remains necessary to maintain efficiency. However, we can mitigate its negative impacts by implementing these two solutions. The changes improve student well-being, train critical thinking, and better prepare students for future careers. It's time to redefine the future of education. We sincerely hope this gets taken into consideration for the better of all students.